We continue to follow that breaking news out of Mexico this hour. The Foreign Affairs Minister has confirmed that one Canadian was killed and another wounded in a shooting at an archaeological tourist site outside of Mexico City. CBC's Mark Carcassel has more on this. Mark, what do we know at this hour?
Sarah, this shooting happened, this mass shooting, I should say, at the Teotihuacan pyramids. It's not only a popular tourist destination in Mexico, it's also an important cultural site in the country. The map shows you that it is just a little bit north of Mexico City, so it is obviously a very heavily populated area for tourists. There are tour guides that take tourists up and down the pyramid throughout the day, and it appears that a tour was underway when today's incident occurred. Now, CBC has verified some videos from the scene that are currently circulating on social media. Some of them are very graphic, and we're not going to show you those ones, but the ones we're showing you now are not so graphic, but you can see the shooter walking about midway up the pyramid. He's holding a gun. He appears at various times in videos to alternate between shooting in the air and shooting at people who are diving for cover. We do hear that some of them did fall down the pyramid and sustain certain injuries, but in the end, we know that at least one tourist, a Canadian woman who has not been publicly identified, was killed in this situation. There were 6 people injured, 4 of them injured with gunshot wounds, 2 of them injured in falls. We've heard from Mexico State Attorney General's office that the one Canadian who is injured is a woman named Felicia Lee. She's 26 years old. We don't know if she suffered gunshot or fall injuries. Again, this is not the woman who was killed. She has not been publicly identified, but a Canadian injured, Felicia Lee, 26 years old, has been identified. The injured also include a 6-year-old Colombian child, as well as others from Colombia, the Netherlands, and Russia. In a statement from Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand on X, she writes, quote, "As a result of a horrific act of gun violence, a Canadian was killed and another wounded in Teotihuacan, Mexico. My thoughts are with their family and loved ones, and Global Affairs consular officials are in touch to provide assistance. We have reached out ourselves to Global Affairs Canada for a little more information. We have not received a response yet. They did put out a statement on Twitter, which was very similar to the one that was put out by the Foreign Affairs Minister. So we continue to keep an eye on this situation. We'll try to bring you as many details as we can. We also should note, I forgot to note it earlier, Sarah, that the gunman himself did turn the gun on himself, and police say he is dead as well.
Okay, Mark, thank you. And we continue to make efforts as well to reach out to an eyewitness. We'll hopefully have that later in the hour. Thanks, Mark. One Canadian killed, another wounded at an archaeological tourist site outside of Mexico City. My next guest heard the shooting from the bottom of that pyramid. Brenda Lee is from Vancouver and is vacationing in Mexico, and she is on a trip with her friends, and she heard those shots ring out. Brenda joins us now. Brenda, it's great to have you on the phone. Let me just start by asking, how are you doing?
Just fine, actually. We're okay. We decompressed.
Well, that's good to hear. The site where you were, I've seen the pyramids. I have actually been there, and I can imagine that I know the distance from the top of that pyramid to the bottom where I believe you were. What could you actually hear and what could you see?
We actually heard what we thought were fireworks or fireworks, and we were in front of a vendor, and somebody asked, "Was that gunfire?" And the vendor said, "Yes, that's gunfire, run." And we ran right away. But of course, looking back, we saw these people just coming off the top of that Temple of the Moon. If you've been there, you know it's flat on top, and the sides are tiered. And there's about, it looked like 8 to 10 feet between the tiers. And we saw people streaming off the top, going down the stairs, and then people dropping from the side on the right-hand side, which was an awful thing to see.
Yeah, no, that flat surface on top, I know people go to the top and in some cases to sit there and almost meditate and enjoy the view is. But yes, you're right, it is quite a drop, and those steps are extremely narrow if you were trying to get down quickly. What do you know in terms of anyone who was able to get down, or what do you know of I guess, injuries? We know there is another Canadian who has been injured in this.
You know what? We're hearing on the news just like you are. So we don't know much. The only thing that we do know is that we could see the gunman. After the fact, we saw a gunman pacing at the top, and by a video, of course. And when we look back through our pictures and our videos, we can see him over our shoulders. We had a group picture taken with the 7 of us. and we can see him over our shoulders on the right-hand side in a plaid shirt. And looking at additional pictures, earlier, he actually was within 3 feet of us, one of our members and our guide, which is kind of eerie.
Yeah, no, we can see that picture of you and your friends standing there. How are you all processing what's happened here?
I think we're lucky. We're really lucky, and we're really grateful for our guide and our driver. You know, it can happen anywhere, and we're just really fortunate. Really fortunate.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And
to have
yet
that phone. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, it wouldn't stop me from coming back here again. The Mexican people have been really wonderful. Everyone has been really concerned about us, even riding up and down the elevator, making sure that we're okay. And I would come back here again, absolutely.
When you were at that site, let me just ask, I mean, what kind of security was there when you were there, when you're walking in to go and see that? Because there's a number of, pyramids and other stone figures.
We didn't see any security. Honestly, we didn't see any security. We had been in the historic center 2 days before that. And when we went into the museums and went into the cathedrals, we had to go through metal detectors, and we had to store our water bottles. We weren't allowed to take it in. This didn't have anything. We just walked. It was like once our driver dropped us off, we just walked. It was an open roadway. Our guide paid the entrance fee, and off we went.
And then just in the aftermath, once the shooting had taken place, what kind of security did you see?
Well, our driver arrived very quickly, thanks to our guide. And once got into the van, we saw, I'm assuming it's federal police in their pickup trucks, coming up the road with sirens and lights. And I would guess that would have been about 10 or 15 minutes after the initial shooting started. But the shooting started and lasted for probably 30 minutes or thereabouts. Like, even when we got into the van, we could still hear shooting.
Yeah,
and we didn't know whether it was one gunman, 2, 3, 4, and of course the rumors are flying. And we heard that it was 3 gunmen, 2 gunmen, and anyways, but we didn't know.
Yeah, no, and as I was saying, it's a very large area with a number of different pyramids and structures that are around that I'm imagining people could have been hiding behind as they were trying to run away. A 30-minute period of time, that's a long window of time for this to be going on.
A long time. And it was a long time. Some of us thought we were running towards an issue, and others, like myself, were just oblivious to get out of there. I just wanted to get away from it.
So in that 30 minutes, Brenda, can you describe to me, what was going through your mind?
I was concerned that we were all together, to make sure that we were together. My sister, of course, for some reason hung back for a while, not really concerned me. But we all, it was momentary. And we all got together, and again, our guide made sure we were together. She kept counting to make sure we were all in the same place. And then we started to walk to get away from it once we were in the parking lot.
Brenda Lee, witness to the shooting in Mexico. Brenda, appreciate you having this conversation with us tonight, and look forward to having you back in Vancouver. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, bye-bye.